You're here for another episode of Dapper Conversations. We're here in Toronto at apartment 200 with two really dope guests today. We've got Tyrone Edwards, who is the anchor of eTALK Canada, and we've also got my guy Samuel Tita, who's the founder of Black Men Style. Get your pen and pad ready, take your notes, make sure you listen, make sure you tap into what they're talking about and share it with your people. Come on in with us. Yo, we're here for another episode of Dapper Conversations. This time, we in T-Dot. Yo, welcome to Toronto. Welcome to the 6th. Well, y'all welcome me to the 6th.
Welcome.
Thank you. Nah, I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for taking your time to join in with us here for Dapper Conversations. Well, you guys know we're going to have this real raw, direct conversation around, one, what makes them who they are, two, what makes this city what the city is, but then three, also just ways that successes and things that they've overcome, they can then position back into our community. So again, thank you guys for taking your time today. First question, I'm gonna start with you, T-Rex. Mm-hmm. What's so special about the 6, man?
What's so special about the 6? Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the work that you've been doing. Obviously a fan long before we had any type of communication. So when the request came for me to be involved, be a part today, the walk, the flash mob, I can't lie. I was like, of course I want to do this. Like I've been, watching and wishing I could be a part of it. So really appreciate what you and the team has been doing. I think it's valuable, it's meaningful, it's necessary, and I'm super grateful for it. So I'm glad that you could finally make it here. When I saw that Instagram post, Toronto for the first time, I'm like, what? Yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I'm like, things I gotta do that weekend? I'm like, let me figure out how I can at least be a part of it in one way or another. So what makes this city special to me? What makes this city special to me is the free cultural currency that you acquire just by growing up here. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by cultural currency is because you grow up with so many different nations, so many different religions, so many different ethnic backgrounds, so many different types of food, you have this access, this window, this lens to the world that prepares you in ways that you don't realize until you start to travel. Yeah. And so I know that a lot of people have to travel to acquire that sort of cultural currency. We have that batting practice right here in the city. Yeah. I'm so grateful that I got to grow up with a Giancarlo, an Italian boy, and his Aunt Miriam became my aunt. Yeah. And I got to eat that pesto and see how it's really done the Italian way. Yeah. I love that, I have people that are, celebrating so many, like Diwali and all these different religions. And I think for me, and my Instagram name is Mr. One Love, and the reason why is because when I went to the U.S. and came back to Toronto, it was just so evident for me that how diverse we were, and that not just like a tolerance of like, yeah, there go them people or whatever. Right. We're all one, right? And so that idea of one love, me being Jamaican. I think I feel like I was meant to grow up here, even though sometimes you could feel like you're not a part of it because I'm black and some people be like, oh, go back to Africa. Like I've had racist people say stuff like that, but I feel like I'm supposed to be from Toronto. Yeah. I feel like I'm supposed to have be a part of this city and contribute in whatever ways I can. So this city is special because of its cultural currency, because of its openness, and because it's so new. And we as like the people who are contributors here, people that actually love it and spend the time here, we're shaping this city into what it will be. And the legacy, we're creating that legacy. It doesn't have that long history like a New York City does. So I feel blessed to be able to be a part of making Toronto what it is.
Good look. And you're adding to the diversity of what makes this city special.
100%.
Right.
100%.
And what about you, Samuel? What's special about the six, man? We hear about it. We hear about it a little further south where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? But what's special about it?
It's 100% is diversity. That's what it is. And I know that one of the many. I mean, for me, I spend a lot of time in the South. I have a lot of family over there, and anytime I'm over there, it's a lot of people have questions, pertaining to one. The first thing is like, oh, your accent. Where are you from? Right? Where are you from? Where are you from? People are always trying to figure it out, and because of us growing up in this city of Toronto, our accent, it derives from so many different spaces, right? The dialect, certain phrases that we say, and whether it be culture, religion, saying things like wallahi, right? It's a there you go. You see what I mean? Or even when we're greeting each other, wagwan, that being very Jamaican. It's a very even amongst the Caribbean, it's still an expression. So the diversity, 100% is what makes this city what it is, and it's what makes our people what they are, right? So yeah.
I think the beautiful thing that I see me being here as well is exactly that, right? We from the time that we leave the house, driving into the city, getting here, you just see everything, everybody, and everybody's just floating, going about their way. Excuse me, in and out. Like there's obviously you have some people that are just bad people, right? They just got a bad heart, so they gonna be who they gonna be. But for the most part, you just see just a city that embraces everybody and loves everybody and lets everybody have their own lane to do what they want to do. And I do value that, again, even from the outside looking in. It's something I've noticed here in the last couple of days that we've been here. It's exactly that. Now, when we think about the progression of Toronto, right? And you guys as black men here, what's your view of the black community in Toronto, right? Now, again, granted, your black community varies from ours because your black community is much more diverse, right, than ours. What would you say, kind of looking at the scope of the community right now? What would you say? How would you describe it?
I see a lot of progress, 100%. Be it financially, I think a lot more of the community is aware of the necessary things that we need to do in order to scale. When it comes to black ownership, the black businesses have boomed, especially throughout the pandemic. I think a lot of our black women, especially, are really, really, really shaking the table right now. Our black men as well. And then, on top of that, it being a very diverse city, we have a lot of people coming in from, other parts of the Caribbean, a lot more, people who are coming in from Africa. A lot of, Nigerians have been here, Ghanaians have been here, but, a lot of East Africans. We have a lot of East Africans as well, be it, Ethiopians, Eritreans, people from Djibouti, South Africa, and they're while being here, I think there's a better understanding of coming together as one. And that's a take I've gotten over the years, growing up in the city, because I come from a household that is half and half. My mother being from Guyana and my father being from Cameroon, right? So I've been on both sides of the fence. So I've experienced both, right? So I would say I've a pretty good understanding of seeing the way that it's progressed on both ends, and I think we're at a pretty good state. I would say that. Yeah.
I didn't know you was a Guyanese,
Yeah,
brother.
brother.
Yeah, listen, the black community is, like you said, it's vast. So I feel like, especially like the younger generation right now, I think they've got this confidence that I think we didn't have. They've got a lot of really good examples to go off of. It's just been so much growth. I think when you think about when you think about the power of seeing someone of your likeness in any position of power or any positions that are attractive, any positions of success, there's so much power in that, and it's so necessary. And a lot of the time, we would have to look to the U.S. Like in my age group, we'd have to look to the U.S. to see that. And also, a lot of our success was defined by making it to the U.S. Whereas now we have a lot of examples of people who are dominant and successful right here. Yeah. And then they get loved in the U.S. and they get loved in the U.K. and they get loved globally, you know? And whereas I think that that's given our young Black community a certain confidence that I think is absolutely brilliant. I think it's beautiful. You know, I still want them to respect how we got here, why they have this confidence, but I think it's brilliant. I think it's, you know, we've talked about what it's like to be a father and the important things that you want to hand down to your youngins. Well, like, I feel like as someone who's been in this city and breathed and slept and advocated for this city for however many years now, it's brilliant to see like this confidence that the young people have. And also too, it's like there's like the idea or the imagery of what a Black man looks like or a Black woman looks like, there's such a range. You know, whereas before it was like you almost had to like dress a certain way or talk a certain way or listen to certain type of music or be Black enough. You see, what I love is that there's this range. Like, there's so many different types of Black men in this city. There's so many different types of Black women in this city. And what that allows is for people to just have the freedom to offer this world what God made them to offer. And I think that is the most important. If you can live the truest version of yourself, then that's when you'll be your happiest, that's when you'll be your healthiest. Yeah, and mental health is you know, major priority for me. So I know when people are allowed to be who they're meant to be, that's when they'll be the best for us. Yeah.
I appreciate too the perspective on both of you are speaking from your heart, as if whatever you can do to continue to push the community forward is important to you, right? From a mission-driven perspective, right? What would you say in the work that you do? What would you say is the mission that just keeps you moving forward, right? What keeps you? Because again, from the way you talk, it's bigger than you. I can hear it, right? It's bigger than you. What about that mission? I'll start with you first, Tita, especially with Black Men Style, right? Why is it important for you to provide the representation, to provide the outlet, to provide the safe space as a mission to yourself?
I think one of the many things that have really inspired me, I think it's just having conversations with, you know, certain people from the community. I think a lot of people had lost faith in the community, you know, lost faith in, you know, because of their experiences. And, you know, when you consistently hear these stories, but you know that there is different, then you just want to show them different, right? So you do the necessary things to show them different. And, you know, with Black Men Style, you know, Black Men Style being birthed especially because of Black Menswear, right? Because of the experience, right? And I let people know that all the time. You know, being a part of that flash mob in 2018, I'm telling you, it sparked. I had to be down there, you know, to handle some business. But, you know, coincidentally, it all tied in together. And I remember we spoke, and at first I had said to you, I was like, yo, you know, this 2018. I was like, hey, would you ever think about coming to Toronto? And I was like, you know, if anything, come around Caravana weekend, because, you know, Caravana weekend. But at that time, you weren't sure at the time. Of course, you know, you have to do your thing over there, and I understood it. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's start over here, right? And to see the same reaction that I got being there, it just like, why would you stop? Why wouldn't you just keep going forward, right? And then, as apart from the shoots, because how we label ours, we call it unity shoots, right? Because still, uniting the our black men within the community. So beyond that, it was like, okay, how else can we, go about this? What else can we do? And went about doing the art exhibit, right? Had 10 black artists, 10 black artists, had a poet and two vocalists. And I mean, I knew that there was going to be impact, 100%. Like, I wasn't even doubting that, because I know this community over here. I know our black community, and I know that's something they haven't experienced, an art exhibit. So I said, okay, you know what, let's do it. The expectation was maybe 150 people. We had 300 people turn out, right? So I wasn't expecting that at all. It was overwhelming, but I was grateful that everybody got the chance to experience that. All the artists who were black artists also got to benefit off of their work, right? Money was made. Like, it was, because there are, exhibits that they might not get a chance to be in, right? Simply because of, what we look like, right? So all in all, I guess that, that's, why I really continue doing what I do, because I want to make sure that everybody who is black continues to get these positive black experiences, right? So we can pass it down to the next generation, right? So, yeah.
The understanding the platform and leveraging and using the platform, just as we do, is the important part of it. Because now you realize that you're giving people a voice that should have a voice, but they don't have a way to speak it. And now having that space to do that and let people be their free, natural selves and showcase themselves in a way that's authentic. Because even to your point, if I'm in a gallery, that's more on the commercial side of things. I can't go in there and really be who I am, guard down and everything like I can if it's a black experience, right? And letting me be free, and now, just having that voice and understanding that, I commend you on maintaining that and keeping that, because again, it is giving people a voice that don't have a voice. Now, for you, my man, what's the mission driving you?
I mean, it's seeing stuff like this is important for me. To know that I have other kings that are willing to actually put in the work. Here's the truth. We said nothing but good things about Toronto. However, keep it all the way 100. Yeah. I love the city with all my heart, so that doesn't mean I love it piecemeal. I love it for... This is a big city, and so we have big city growing pains. As we grow, as we continue to grow, we're going through our growing pains. The violence is ridiculous. It's too much. It bothers me to my soul. I pray about it, like on my knees pray, real talk, because it's too much. I don't care what side of the city you're from. It's too much. It's way too much. So I'm just gonna say that. And I also know that when I was at a certain age, I also would make or perceive the world a certain way, and that also affected my decisions. So I think it's important that we really discuss Black identity, how we see ourselves, and how the world sees us. Because, I mean, listen, when you grow up in whatever you want to call it, hood, ghetto, lower income, at risk, at the end of the day, any of these neighborhoods that we live in are underserved. That's very intentional. It's constructed that way. It's meant to be that way. And when you grow up in any of those neighborhoods, you grow up with a burden of wanting to make it out. Right? Yeah, you want to make it out. And so sometimes when you're trying to make it out, you're willing to make risks and take risks that don't seem rational. But if you're under If you feel like you're already at -4, -7, -11, yeah, I don't want to struggle my whole life. So I might take some risks. I might make some decisions that are a little bit more irrational. And a lot of people don't really want to reconcile with that. And so for me, the big part of what keeps me going is that I want two things. The main thing is this. The main thing I want is for the average black man. I get access. I get treated. I live with a certain type of privilege because I'm who I am. I'm affiliated with who I'm affiliated with. I work for the number one entertainment. I'm the anchor of the number one entertainment show in this country. Of course, I'm going to get a certain privilege. I got police officers. Hey, how you doing? Right. But I remember what it felt like and what it meant to be a regular black guy. Yeah. I had no access. Yeah. I get no special treatment. Matter of fact, it's complete opposite. So until that changes, how I'm done doing my work, I have to work. I have to work because I have to contribute to at least updating what that black identity is for how we look at ourselves, but then also how society looks at us. I can wear whatever I want to wear. I can drive whatever I want to drive, but the average black man still gets treated like doesn't get treated the way you're supposed to be treated. My work's not done.
And the overall hope is that one day we don't have to keep having these conversations, right? That we just can move around, do what we need to do, get access to certain places just the way everybody else does, right? So this 100% is necessary, but the goal is for that the day will come where it's not necessary.
100%.
Right?
Remember I talked about the confidence that like when you got The Weeknd and Drake and you got Andrew Wiggins and Corey Joseph and Tristan Thompson. So you've got people in the entertainment and sports and YouTube that are killing it. So now any young person that's coming up has a certain confidence because they're saying people from where I'm from, that went to the same high school, that played at the same community center, that went to the same nightclubs, that ate the same shawarma, you know what I mean? Like they are seeing the success, so they have a certain confidence. Well, I want the average black person to be like, yeah, we live here. It's not a big deal for us to live here. It's not a big deal for us to drive this. It's not a big deal for us to be employed by this. It's not a big deal for us to have our own tech companies and our own plant shop. It doesn't always have to just be this. I want the average black person to feel valued and be valued. Not just the extreme ones, not just okay, he's on television or he made it, he won a Grammy or what. No. An average black woman, you see an average black woman walking down the street, be like, yeah, she's beautiful. A black man, or she's brilliant. Not just the looks, not just the physical. He's intelligent. They have something to say. I want to hear what they have to say. So for me, it's like, that's the most important. And I feel like I'm babbling, but
no,
it's because, man,
it's good. But it's the thing about it too, right? Again, that's why our platforms and our voices are important. Because, and we say this all the time, because people are asking and talk about, well, saying, what's up with the suit? Like, why I gotta wear a suit? I said, it's not that you have to wear a suit. Let me just break it down for you a little bit. The suit, what it does for me, and I'm just gonna go off of my experience, right? So especially, my background has been in financial services. I've been in financial services for 12 years. I'm very, very, very smart when it comes to money. But that's come with time built up, right? Typically, when I go and I do my meetings, because I host meetings for hundreds, if not thousands, of agents that are trying to get the information that I have to provide. Most of the time, I'm going to those meetings, it's only me. And I say, what happens for me, when I have that suit on, first thing I get is, oh man, that's a nice suit you got on. And for me, immediately, I'm like, okay, I won. So any of the information now, you're going to listen to me, they're going to start leaning forward in that seat. So, because of my attire has helped me, one, to win that person. I don't care who that person is. I've won them. So now they're going to listen to the knowledge that I have. And now they're going to be even more blown away. But for me, it gives me that first layer, that first barrier has already been broken for me because I got that initial compliment.
Is it fun for you?
It's fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Because, to me, that's almost even more important.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that you said that because that's like open and honest. But like wearing a suit is like first and foremost, it's got to just feel good.
It's got to feel good to it. You know? Yeah, it elevates. But everything you put on elevates you in a certain way, right? 100%. So depending upon what you put on makes you feel a certain way. And even for brothers that have never worn a suit before, right? But they'll throw one on for the flash mob. And they'll come to the flash mob and they like, yo, okay, hold up. This my first suit. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I came in this pull up. But just the thing about it, right? You walk your head a little bit higher. You stick your chest out a little bit more. Because you've now put yourself in a place. And the thing I talk about the suits too, the suits are synonymous across cultures with business, with success to an extent, right? It means you got somewhere to go. And just having that around it, and then you put on, then we put our flavor to it. Because we are people that know how to put some stuff together, right? And we do it our own way, in our own, and to our own taste and to our own styles. But just being able to overcome that. But to your point of providing a visual representation that can now make me think, you know what, I can do, even if it's not, celebrity status, right? Oh man, it's a black doctor using our platform to tell about them. Oh, there's a black educator, there's a black principal, there's a black school board trustee, there's a black lawyer, there's a black accountant. All of these things that we're helping to break these stigmas to where it's like, okay, well shoot, now that I've seen that, now I know that that's attainable. And once it becomes attainable, that, to your point, that helps to shift our internal thoughts around ourselves to where it's like, it's not astronomical for me to be the president because I've seen a brother do it. I can be the president now. Now, what are the steps for me to get there? Let's continue to show the representation of, well, shoot, if we can make you feel you can get there, now it's up to you to get there yourself. But at least I've taken the ceiling off of your mind of where you can go with things.
Yo, that just reminded me. When I grew up here in Toronto, and then I used to be nice. I sound like every old guy when I say that, but so I moved to Baltimore, Maryland. I did my last year of high school there, and it was wild because it was all black people in the county. The principals, the teachers. I never even had a black teacher. Like I was 17 when I moved to. When I moved to Baltimore, I was 17 years old. I had never had a black teacher. When I got to Randallstown High School, I had black teachers. All of them were black. Black principal. The superintendent of schools was black. Yeah. It was all rich black people. I was like, what? I'd never seen so much. I would never see nothing like that before. But what it made me realize, though, in those 2 years that I lived in Baltimore, was so I could actually fill any one of these spots based on like how I apply myself. Right. I only had that lesson from seeing someone of my likeness in all those different positions. So I saw somebody pumping gas at the gas station, but I also seen somebody pull up their Rolls Royce to that same gas station. Right. And so for me, I think I'm so grateful for that year because I saw the possibilities. Whereas growing up here, as much as I love this city, growing up here, I didn't see that. Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, shift the gears just a little bit, right? So when you think about where you're going, what's on the horizon that's going to continue to fuel this mission, right? What's coming up that's going to allow you to say, when I look back on it, like that's one of the goals that I got coming up here, and I can't wait to achieve that because we know whatever goals we set, we can get to.
I would say just creating those spaces that a lot of our people haven't gotten the chance to be in, right? I was talking about the art exhibit, for example. Typically, people who normally will be at these art exhibits are people who are accustomed to being around the arts and everything like that. My goal for that especially was, one, I wanted everybody to dress up to be there. Two, I wanted people even from our hoods to be there, to experience that, right? Because it does something to the mind. It does something to the mind. And Man, honestly, for me, it's all about experiences. I just want everybody to be able to experience these things that they might just see as being luxurious, spaces that they won't get invited to or anything like that. I try to keep it, I keep it as open as possible, as open as possible. No limitation. Just be there, be black, be your authentic, beautiful self, and just be there. That's all it is. That's all it is.
More spaces.
Exactly.
Spaces is important, bro, because if we keep it all the way 100, growing up, somebody would say something, a certain type of activity, and you'd be like, "That's white people stuff." Right. Just because it's like elevated or oh, that's white people stuff.
Right.
Man, get out of here! Like that's what I mean by the black identity. Like I want to update it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That ain't white people stuff.
That's
You just ain't done it yet.
Experience.
We ain't tried it yet. All right, come, let's go try it.
Yeah.
Like West Hall.
Oh yeah.
So West Hall's West.
I do.
Okay, so West just threw a golf tournament called Black North at the Scarborough Golf and Country Club. Man had the jerk chicken drum on the premises. That's how we ate lunch. Jerk chicken, rice and peas. You know what I'm saying? Like that full cultural exchange.
Yeah.
We don't just exist in the spaces that where you're comfortable with us.
Yes.
We don't exist in the spaces in which we're interested in.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go there because I want to go there, not because that's my only option. Yeah. I'll answer your question. What I want to do, you see, you guys know, and this is why you're doing this show. A good conversation can be healing. It can be revealing. It can provoke thought. It can build you up and break you down. It can do all of those things, right? A good conversation. So what I want to do, and usually what happens in a good conversation is someone's, or more than one person is willing to be open and honest, whether it's glamorous or not. And that's the only time you get a good conversation, is that the open mind, open heart. And so what I want to do is sort of mimic that in TV and film. I want to be able to tell these types of stories that you get from a good conversation. Because when you have a good conversation, sure, it might be the room, that table that you're at, maybe even at a conference if you're lucky. But if you're able to translate that to film or television, well, now that audience and who can benefit from that is exponential, right? So that's one of my goals. And then the other goal would then just to, really support our young people. I know the risks that I was willing to take in order to make it out. I want to create, this is just ideal. I'm not saying I know how to, but my ideal would be to have black and underserved youth in this city grow up without feeling like they needed to make it out of anything. Because when you grow up feeling like you got to make it out, you kind of don't necessarily respect your neighbors as much, because you don't respect your street as much. You don't. And one of the most eye-opening things for me, like a eureka moment for me, was the same street that I grew up on. The same street where if I applied for a credit card or car insurance or to get a cell phone even, it was going to give me worries because of my postal code, my zip code. Yeah. That same street that if I had told a police officer that, they're going to treat me different, the same street that made you feel like you were lesser than, in 2022, you can't afford to buy a house on that because it's been gentrified. Yeah. And so there was nothing wrong with it geographically. It's just that neighborhood was underserved. So all these things that we've been complaining about are true. Yeah. The example is in our face. They put a Starbucks, they put a subway station, and now we can't live here no more. Yeah. So what I want, and sorry if I'm getting a little loud, but this is my real life. What I want is, I don't want someone to be 39, 38 years old before they realize that. I want you to feel valued wherever you are, the freedom to be whoever the hell you want to be, And for us, whoever is ahead of you on that road, to be willing to reach for you. I'm tired of these guys winning, and they don't want to reach for nobody. Beat it.
And I just want to touch back on, when we were talking about, the suits, right? And this was when I was younger. I grew up in Scarborough. I grew up in Galloway.
You grew up in Galloway?
Yeah, I'm a Jew. Yeah.
I'm from the West End, but
Yeah. And yeah, like Rain and all those guys, all those, like big bros. And I remember my parents, they had sent me to a black focused school called Higher Marks, because the school system told my mother specifically, that by the 10th grade I was going to drop out. I was, if anything, going to be selling drugs. Dead or alive, we'll hope he makes it. So my mom saw that issue. She decided to send me to a black focused school. She sent me there. And one of the things that I loved was that they made us wear uniform. White dress shirt, blue dress pants, black, well, I hated it back then, but you appreciate it now. Black dress shoes. And they used to do roll call, right? So your nails had to be cut, your collar couldn't be dirty, hair cut. They were strict with it all. When we were writing, use a ruler, everything underlined to the T. And I remember when I'd be coming home from there, I had to wear a tie. Typically, I'll take it off because I don't want anybody bothering me. You're walking through the neighborhood, everyone's like, "Yo, where are you going? Why are you so dressed up?" All of those questions. But I didn't realize that all of that at that age was prepping me for the man I am to be today, right? So when we talk about making sure that we do inspire the youth, we have to give them those experiences. We have to give them those experiences, right? So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to kind of touch back on it because I wanted to go over my experience so that if anybody else does see this, other parents, whether it be the school system trying to tell you how, the way your child's going to turn out, don't even worry about that. Just, lead them in the right directions and watch them blossom.
Give them tools.
Yeah, because I was amongst there was only black kids in there. All black kids. All the teachers were black, and it was comfortable for me. It was very comfortable because, yeah, like you said, all of our teachers prior weren't black. They weren't black. We didn't have black teachers like that, right? So
it's different now.
It's different now. It's different now for sure. 100% it's different now. But there are still pockets that are like that, right? So, yeah.
I appreciate you guys stopping by today to join us on Dapper Conversations. I appreciate you guys lifting the standard. That's again something that's resonating with me with everything you guys have said. The only people that can do it is us, right? We can't rely on somebody else. We've always relied on somebody else to tell our story. So now that we have control of that, now that we are taking control of that, I commend both of you in using your platforms and your positions to inspire and motivate others to elevate the standard as well. So from us, Black Menswear, from the South Side to my brothers in the North, I appreciate you guys joining us for Dapper Conversations. Again, we've got two special guests with us today, Tyrone Edwards, Samuel Tita. Thank you guys for tapping into us on Dapper Conversations. And make sure you share this story with somebody else. Somebody needs to hear the word that my brothers dropped here today, and you are the person to share it with them. Y'all have a good one. Be good.